Hello. In this video, we will learn about editing shortcuts in Excel.
Let's look at some useful editing shortcut keys in Excel. If you want to edit a formula, you can use the F2 key. So if you go into a cell that has a formula and press F2 key, you go into the edit mode. So from here, you can change the formula, overtype it or edit it. And also, you can use the double click method in a cell to go into the edit mode. So F2 will also take you to the edit mode. You can use the F4 key to toggle the dollar signs in cell references. For example, here, if I want to put the dollar signs in this G9, I can press F4 after going in front of the cell. I can press F4 once and I will get dollar signs in front of the letter and the number. So this will become a fixed cell reference. Again, if I press F4, there's only a dollar in front of the 9. So it's a mixed cell reference. Again, if I press F4, I get a dollar in front of the letter G. So again, it's a mixed cell reference. If I press F4 again, all the dollar signs have gone off. So it's a normal relative cell reference. So F4 key will help you to toggle between the options of the dollar signs for cell references without typing in your dollar signs manually. Control Enter is a useful shortcut key when you want to enter data into a range or a formula you want to enter into a range. You can use Control Enter. Here I've selected this range like this, and let's say I want to enter the letter A into all of these cells. I will type in A, and then it will appear on the active cell in this range, the first cell. Then I can press Control Enter. So it will apply to all of these cells and get copied onto all of the cells in the selected range. So I can do it with formulas as well. So I can use Control Enter to apply formulas to a range as well. So here on this table over here, this is a multiplication table I have done. So here I have used this formula on this cell and then copied it down and then across like this to get the table done. So I have basically done one formula and copied it down as a mixed cell reference formula. If I want to do it over here, at once if I want to apply the formula to a range, I need to select the whole range like this, and in the active cell over here, I will type the first formula, this into this. Then I will do a mixed cell referencing using F4 key. So I will only fix the end here. And again, I will use F4 and I will fix the 29 number over here. So after I have done the formula, I can press Control and Enter key. And see at once, the whole formula gets applied to the whole range. And if I double click and check here, the formula is correct on the last cell as well. So in between formulas also will be correct. So Control Enter is a quick way for you to enter data or formulas into a range. And also you can use Control Enter to remain inside the cell after you write a formula. So like here, if I write a formula here, this into 100. If I press Enter, I will go one cell below. But if I want to remain inside the cell, I can press Control and Enter key. So I remain inside the cell. Sometimes you want to enter multiple lines of data or text into a cell. So how do we do that without going across? If you want to insert one line after another into a single cell, you can use the Alt and Enter method. So if you go to the formula bar, you can type So this is, let's say I want this on the first line. So I'll type this is the first line and I will press Alt and Enter key here. Then I go into the second line. So I can check from here. If you drag the formula bar down, see, I'm in the second line now. So then I can type whatever I want, the second line like this. So likewise, with the Alt Enter, you can keep on entering into different lines. So here I will stop it here. I'll press Enter. And here, if I expand the cell, you'll see I got two lines in the cell. The first line and then the second line. So you can enter multiple lines of data inside the same cell using this Alt and Enter method. If you want to see the formulas in your worksheet, you can use Control tilde or the backtick. So the backtick or the tilde key is over here next to your, on top of your tab key, this wavy kind of line. So that is the tilde button. So this is what you need to use. So here I have a formula. So if I want to view everything, every formula in the worksheet, I can press Control and tilde. And see, these formulas are now visible. It's expanded. I can see the formula over here. And if I go up, I can see other formulas and all the other formulas in the worksheet. So this Control tilde or the back tick is a toggle button. Again, if I want to go back to normal view, I can again press Control tilde. And now I can see the normal view. So if you want to quickly check your formulas and look at them at once, you can use this shortcut key. If you want to enter the current time into a cell, you can use Control Shift and then the colon. So I got the current time inserted into this cell. If you want the current date, you can use Control and then semicolon. So here I'll do Control and semicolon. And that has inserted the date. If you want to enter the current date and time together, you can first press Control semicolon, then put a plus sign and space, and then Control Shift and colon. So here let's do that. So Control and semicolon, and then I put a space to separate it, and then Control Shift colon and enter. So I got the date and then the time into one cell. If you want to add or edit a comment in a cell, you can use the Shift and F2 shortcut. So here if I want to add a comment, I can use Shift and F2. So I can type in the comment. And then if I want to edit that again, I can go do again Shift and F2 and I go to the edit mode. So I can use Shift and F2 to add and then edit a comment. If you want to access the formula dialog box, you can use the Shift and F3. So Shift and F3, it opens the formula dialog box from where you can insert functions onto your worksheet. So let's select some, and you can do it that way. If you want to insert hyperlinks, you can use Control K shortcut. And it will open the Insert Hyperlink dialog box. So from here, if you want to add links to other sheets, or then have a text to display for that link, you can create that from here. So let's say I want to do a link to some place in the same document. And let's say I want to display the name for formatting. and select formatting from here and say OK. So I got a link inserted that will take me into the formatting box. The F9 key has two functionalities. First one is to evaluate a formula or part of a formula. Then it can also recalculate the entire file. So we'll first look at evaluating a formula. If you go to this cell, if I double click, there's a formula I have written here. And let's say I want to evaluate this part of the formula. I can highlight it like this. And in newer versions of Excel, you will see a screen tip or a tooltip like this. It's called a value preview tooltip. So 21 value is shown as the value of this part of the formula. So in newer versions of Excel, using F9 to evaluate formulas is kind of obsolete because you have the screen tips. But in older versions of Excel, if you want to evaluate the formula or part of a formula, you will need to use the F9 key. So I select this part of the formula and I will press the F9 key. And the value for that part of the formula is shown here in the formula. So from here, I need to press escape to go back and I come out of evaluation. So let's look at another formula over here. So here I have done another formula, an index and a match combination. So here if I select this match part of the formula and I see the evaluated value is 2 with the screen tip. So if I press F9, I get the evaluated value shown in the formula as 2. So now I need to again press escape to come out of it. So likewise, if I want to evaluate this second match formula, I can select that and press F9 again. So it evaluates to 5. So I can again press escape to come out. So this is very useful when you want to debug formulas and find errors. So here in this cell, I have again an index and a match formula combination. But here, as you can see, I am getting the #NA error. So if I want to evaluate the formula, I could select the first match formula like this. And I could press F9 and I get a #NA. So that is because that part of the formula is having an error. So I could debug from there. So if I press escape, I come back. So the issue here in this match function is that I'm looking for L125. So L125 is this RAV4 and that is not available in this lookup area for the match function. So only these 4 vehicle types are available. The RAV4 is not available. So when you evaluate, I get a #NA. So it's shown here on the screen tip as well. So what I can do is I could adjust this. So I have a value that is already in this list and I can press enter. So I get the same value as before. And when you are evaluating using the F9 key, you need to be careful because if you select something like this section, and then I press the F9 key, the formula is kind of replaced with the value that was evaluated. In this case, it's evaluated to 2. So if I press enter from here, the formula will be replaced with 2 for that section. So the evaluated value is replaced if I press enter. So to get out of that, I need to always remember once I press F9 and then I see the evaluated value, I need to press the escape key to come out of it. So I will just come here and do undo from here and have the formula back after the undo. So here if I don't select any of these sections of the formula and I press F9, the whole formula gets evaluated and the final value is shown there. So here, from here, if I press enter, that value will be replaced into the formula like this. So the whole formula becomes that evaluated value. So what I need to do is every time, let me undo that. So every time I evaluate a part of the formula like this, and I see the value with F9, in this case 5, I need to remember to press the escape key to come out. So then the formula remains intact. Then the other functionality of the F9 key is to calculate the entire file. So this is normally not required because Excel is by default set to recalculate every time you do a change. So that means every time you do some change in some value in a formula or some part of the Excel sheet, all your calculations or the formulas and functions are recalculated. So let me show here. If you go to File and go to Options, here under Formula section, you see the calculation options. So by default, workbook calculation is automatic. That means every time you do a change, everything is recalculated. But sometimes you may set it for partial calculation, like when you want to stop Excel getting slow, when you have a lot of data tables, for example, or if you set it to manual, where every time you need to press F9 to recalculate. In those situations, you need to press F9 to calculate. Otherwise, if you have it set for automatic, you don't need to ever press F9 to calculate. Excel automatically recalculates every time you do a change. So here, let me change this to manual and click OK. And here, let's say this formula over here is taking values from these two cells. So if I change this 20 to, let's say, 100, now this formula did not get updated. But as you can see, there's a kind of a cross that has come here across and is showing here. It's a stale value. So in that case, Excel highlights and shows you that this value has not been updated. So to update this value to the change in the value in this cell, I can press the F9 key. So once I press F9, it recalculates with the new value that I have entered. So it's always best to keep calculation as automatic. So I'll come back here, go to Options, and go to Formulas and keep it as automatic. So sometimes, as I told you, if you have a lot of data tables and it's slowing down your machine, you can go for partial. And then every time you want to recalculate, you can press the F9 key. So for now, we'll keep it as automatic and press OK. To do a spell check, you can use the F7 key. So if you press F7 from beginning of the sheet, yes, and it has brought up this January is been spelled. So it says I should go for this suggestion over here. So from here, I can say change. It says spell check is all done. So you can quickly do a spell check for your whole workbook from using the F7 key. You can use the F5 key as a go-to shortcut key. So if you press F5 key, it will open up the go-to box, and from there you can go to special. So here, if I selected this range over here and press F5 and then special, out in this selected range, if I want to see any notes that are there, I can check from here constants, and if I want to check the formulas, I can select formulas and then say OK. So it shows this cell is where the formula is located. Again, if I select the range and press F5 and special, let's say I want to see the cells that have conditional formatting. So I can select from here and say OK, and it has highlighted this range where I have applied conditional formatting. Likewise with the F5 key and then go to special, you can check the cells depending on different criteria.
Thanks for watching.